The orc looked incredibly surprised. Frost Cloud, aren't you already dead out there? Frosty Cloud reassured him that even if your whole family died, I'd still be alive and well. Frosty Cloud's eyes really want to kill me. As long as it's okay, we'll go back first. He flashed to the orc in an instant and grabbed him by the neck. It wasn't going to be that easy to leave. The orc backed away in horror. Frost Cloud, we are mistaken. His gaze grew more and more fierce. Want to lay hands on slowly? Just based on you are also worthy of it. The other orcs were all stunned, watching the blood splatter across the room. The orc kept convulsing his body. Frost Cloud begged you to stop and save me. He didn't feel anything about it. He just wanted to kill it, and then he reached out and stabbed it right in. The female cried out in horror, oh my god, Frost Cloud is really going to kill Aki. So is it my turn after that? She tried to run away, but the door was thrown open, and there were countless helpers standing outside. How dare you bully the females in our Rocky Mountains? Arrest all these offenders. I'm a poor female and the daughter of the Black River Wolf clan leader. You can't take me to the dungeon. The female comforted our heroine. Don't be afraid, the White Emperor and Frost Cloud are back. No one can bully you anymore. Slowly, he became excited. The White Emperor really came back. Tears flowed out of her agreed eyes. It's so great that Whitey is back as well. Frost Cloud angrily cursed his men. What a useless thing, and threw him out of the cavern. An old man suddenly sent word for him to wait, asking the Frost Cloud patriarch to be merciful and spare his life. Frosty Cloud looked at the visitor and laughed out coldly. Witch Doctor Machin of the Black River Wolf clan, you've come just in time. The witch doctor, Machin, said he wasn't feeling well, and then Aki went behind his back and did this. The witch doctor is a slippery, treacherous man, and is probably behind Aki's roughing up of the females. It's the same water that made Whitey lose control. What's he up to? But he can't kill Archer. But the little female quietly came over. Frost Clouds, this matter can't be left to me to solve it. His little face turned red. What a nosy little female. Whatever. Slowly look at these old slickers. How much magic water you've brought it. The witch doctor thought to himself that the first time he had discussed with a female, he had brought as many as 2 barrels with him. Then you leave both barrels of water and tell us what kind of food it's made from, and we'll forget the whole thing. The old man immediately lost his temper. Wanting our formula is too greedy. Frost Cloud picked up the dying Aki just in time. So what else do you have to trade? Slowly stated that she didn't want the recipe, just the ingredients, and that she wanted to brew her own magic water. The old man couldn't believe them. Why are you asking about the ingredients? What are you going to do? Frosty Cloud saw that he was dead set on not letting go of his mouth, and then picked up the fool again and flung him around. Are you still not going to say yes? The old man sighed darkly. How could he not let him die here? Of course, he could only promise to. So the orcs brought big barrels and said that all the magic water was here. Frosty Cloud is acting very calm as the clan leader. Hurry up and tell us your recipe. He let come slowly to himself and muttered in her ear for a while. These are all the ingredients. We're not hiding anything. Well, goodbye then, extraordinary little female. We'll see you again. Slowly believing only a small part of it. This Machin looks weird. Still need to be careful. But they're finally gone. I'm gonna go check on Whitey real quick. But before she could leave, Frosty Cloud fell down with a poof. Slowly rushed over. Frosty Cloud, what's going on? What's going on? And she actually became very cold when she touched his body. She suddenly realized what was going on and looked over with unblinking eyes. A pattern emerged on his arm, similar to that weird starburst pattern. She didn't know anything about this at all. What the hell could this pattern be doing? The witch doctor slammed open the door of the room. This is it. Quickly put Frosty Cloud on the bed next to him, slowly following the crowd. He did see the unconscious White Emperor. He seemed to be breathing steadily, so she guessed there was nothing wrong, for which she quietly sighed in relief. The witch doctor said, except for the slow. You all go out. You guard the door. No one is allowed to enter. The starbursts appeared. The beast soul inside Frost Cloud was awakened. Why at this time? Slowly expressed his lack of understanding. What is that thing called a star-tattooed beast soul? When an orc evolves, a starburst will appear, which represents the awakening of the beast soul, allowing for a great increase in combat power. Starbursts are hard to come by and don't always awaken the soul of the beast, and many beastmen fell in their evolution, resulting in death. She covered her mouth in surprise. How could the Longju witch doctor explain it like that, and why did he die? Evolution is a task given to the orcs by the gods, and those who fail the test are losers and should be eliminated. The weak are the strongest. The strong are the most powerful. This is the law of survival of the orcs. According to the usual practice, when Frosty Cloud comes of age, it should be his father who helps to awaken and appease the soul beast within him. But his father died a long time ago, so he couldn't awaken the animal spirit inside him. I thought the beast soul in his body had died out due to his father's death, but I didn't expect it to suddenly appear today. There's nothing we can do. If he fails in the end, failure is death. Slowly didn't want him to die. Although he had a bad personality and a bad mouth, he was a very good orc. He saved me time and time again. I'm not cold-hearted. Frosty Cloud and Whitey must be fine. All of them must hang on, she cried in aggravation. In a trance, the White Emperor heard a slow cry and snapped out of his stupor, only to see him rubbing up and sitting up. Frost Cloud, what happened to him? The little woman slowly burrowed into his arms and cried out uncontrollably. Frost Cloud seemed to be dying. The witch doctor waved his hand helplessly at him. It was Frost Cloud's starburst that appeared. I instantly understood the truth of the matter and slowly helped me down. I'll go and check on Frosty Cloud. Although he was lying peacefully on the bed, his furrowed brow emphasized the physical pain he was experiencing at this time. The White Emperor thought to himself, Silver Frost White Wolf, and it seems to be considered the will of heaven. He explained to the witch doctor that maybe I could save his life. He uncovered his clothes slowly and methodically, and the side of his waist was suddenly visible, not realizing that he had that weird pattern too. Slowly looking at the increasingly obvious pattern. Have you also awakened a beast soul? Witch Dr. Longju's mouth opened wide in surprise. This was a 3-star soul beast, a powerful 3-star soul beast, capable of calming the soul of the Silver Frost White Wolf. Witch Doctor, please save Frosty Cloud. Just say the word and we'll be at your service. I can't save him, but I can't do it alone. I need to slow down. Slowly the look of worry that was just there changed to one of shock. The White Emperor came to her slowly. I need you and me and Frost Cloud to be mates. She opened her eyes wide for fear of mishearing a word. 3 people together as mates. If you want to appease the beast's soul inside Frost Cloud, it has to be his loved one. If you become our mate, you'll be bound to each other, like family. When that happens, I'll make a move to appease his beast soul, and my chances of success will be greatly improved. Slow doesn't understand but is greatly shocked. I never thought of getting to mates. Isn't marriage supposed to be monogamous? Now the 3 of us are mates. This is crazy. But if I don't agree, will Frosty Cloud be hopeless? I looked in Frost Cloud's direction again. He was still shaking with pain. If I save by die and come back this time, can you promise me one thing? Frosty Cloud is still waiting for me to save his life. I can't just ignore him. At that moment, Whitey stretched out his strong arms around the delicate female. I used to stop you from going out with males. I was afraid you'd be taken by someone else. I always wanted to have you all to myself. He recounted it so aggressively that his body began to shake uncontrollably. In fact, it's hard for Whitey to, isn't it? It's because of me that he's making this decision. We owe him our lives. I'll do anything to get him back. In the normal course of events, mating must take place between a female and a male. The witch doctor took the object in his hand and his expression became incredibly serious. Now, the Frosty Cloud is unconscious, and Bai Dai is injured. We can only go through another method. Whitey was the first to cut his finger, and bright drops of blood slid down his fingertip, gradually dripping into the container. He then left to retrieve his fingers. The witch doctor came to Frost Cloud and took a knife and cut his finger. The blood drops of the 2 gradually merged, and it would soon be her turn. Instead of scratching her fingers, she actually picked up the glass of water with a grave expression on her face. She then cupped her hands around the glass of water and frowned as she finished it all off in one go. I didn't expect her to pick up the knife again and cut her fingers randomly without daring to open her eyes. Whitey suddenly knelt down to her, and she didn't stop the act this time, only to see her handing it to Bai Dai with a heavy heart, a hint of worry showing in her expression. He solemnly lifted the glass of water and drank the cup of female blood into his mouth. The witch doctor, after taking the glass of water over, gently pulled up his back and slowly fed it into his mouth. In this moment, slowly seemed to see light. Could it be an illusion? And that's it. That's it. I made it to them. Frosty Cloud's face became normal, and the icy aura on his body gradually dissipated. Is this the end of the ceremony? I can't believe it. Frost Cloud hates females so much. Will he be very angry when he wakes up and finds out he's been forcibly coupled up? The domineering White Emperor was the first to speak. If he dares to dislike you, I'll kill him. In fact, Frosty Cloud likes you very much. He'll be madly happy to be your mate. I had to heckle twice. Females hate getting words. Is it a lie? Pactai told her not to worry. The mate is valid for 3 months. If you don't mate with us, it will automatically expire. The witch doctor gave a quick thumbs up. Yes, you stay if you think it's passable and dump them if you're not satisfied. So that's it. I thought this was for life. Think of it as a relationship, although it does seem a bit odd that it's with 2 people. Whitey walks forward and crouches down. I'll take care of him next, only to see his large hands suddenly put up and unleash energy around his starburst. For this reason his star pattern gradually spread out. Even the full pattern came to the fore. The heart suddenly beat so hard I felt the beating of their hearts, the rhythm of their breathing, the souls of the beasts in their bodies. All followed. Frosty Cloud's eyes swished open after the duo's treatment. The starbursts on his arms are getting brighter and brighter. What did I just do? The witch doctor was shocked by this. A one-star soul beast gets the mark. You've evolved successfully. Whitey, you look very bad. Lie down and rest. But Whitey didn't agree. Help me back. I want to go home. It's so touching to slow down a little bit and go back to our home. The house has been restored to its original state, presumably with the help of Moksha and a few of her males. The White Emperor lay resting on his bed, but his eyes followed the slowly. This is Ganpaku fruit. Eat one every day from now on. It's very good for your health. It's because of them that Whitey is in danger. But how can I refuse his heart? Whitey apologized with a pale face. I'm sorry, Is. That night Don't say that again. I've forgotten about that night. Don't ever mention it again. She put away the bag of fruit, her fingers shaking slightly. Whitey is very grateful to her, as long as she keeps me around. He's in a nervous mood. Can I hold you again? I don't reject Whitey. After this, I realize I really can't live without him. Besides, it's really great that Whitey is back now. So early the next morning, there was a clanging sound outside the cave. Slowly was awakened. Who is going on? Someone came to the door to find fault again. She walked forward with her little cloak wrapped tightly around her, and a large hole was broken in the parlor wall, only to see Frosty Cloud's little head exposed on the opposite side, looking at her shyly, slowly but angrily. Why are you smashing the wall of my house? Frosty Cloud said, we are mates. Your home is my home. Of course this wall should be smashed down. He's incredibly apprehensive and nervous. I'm just going to open up both sides of the house. Besides, I'm your mate now. It's only natural. Slowly expressed helplessness at this. Even so, then you cannot just smash the wall. Frost Cloud's mouth grinned. The little female didn't deny it, so she was admitting it in disguise. But the White Emperor interrupted them and jerked up behind her. Conveniently what? Frost Cloud did this, of course, for his own convenience, wanting to abduct her into his bed, but he's already made dinner, and the little female wants to go eat first. He then looked at Frosty Cloud. You saved my life. I helped you out. From now on, we'll have a fair competition, and Ace will be able to choose his own male. Frosty Cloud says just play fair. I'll never give in to you. Whitey was obviously very perfunctory, not caring in the least about his opponent behind him. I won't ask why you're strong enough to show up in this place, but you're not allowed to hurt the clan or Slowly. He said it doesn't matter. I just want to live a good life with Slowly. If you break her heart, I won't let you go. Very grabby Slow, surprised to cover his mouth tightly. How to do all of that? The next 3 months are going to be 3 people living together. Will they make it through? It looks like there's going to be a lot of trouble in the days ahead. And so began the cohabitation of the 3. This is the first day of change. Slowly panicking to protect his body, he righteously said no. Frost Cloud said, letting myself run errands. Why shouldn't I get paid for it? She just doesn't agree. I can't sleep with you. He's furious about it. We're mates. We sleep together. It's the right thing to do. You sleep with that tiger every night. He always makes you make those noises. Slowly reddened his cheeks. Is the sound insulation of the rock wall so bad? I want to complain. Whitey and I are in love, but you don't like me. I consider you a friend. It's not appropriate for us to sleep together, so you should reconsider. Frost Cloud's brain wiring is clearly not here. You don't even like me, do you? Then why mate with me and let me misunderstand you so? Slowly indicates that the situation is urgent, and I can't see it too. It's not a real partnership. What do you mean it's not a real partnership? I just want to be with you. Let you think of me as a true mate. I hate to push her right now too. The title of mate is completely seated, but the female's claws are retracted, but it still has a shred of sense. It's just an errand. I'll go, won't I? So huffing and puffing, he stormed out, intending to leave the little female's side. However, the little female misunderstood. Why was he so angry? He really hated females. We saw our little milk wolf running angrily and kicking in the door of Longzhu's room. It's a thank you gift I was told to bring you. Throw it at me. The witch doctor immediately poked him in the heart. You and Slowly are at odds again. Slow doesn't like me at all. I like her so much, but she just doesn't like me. Longzhu looked at him painfully. Don't be sad. Tell me more. The wind is howling outside, but the orcs don't seem to feel the cold. With a gift on his shoulder, Whitey accompanied the female to Moksha's house. Makain just happened to be in there. Is she slowing down? Come on in. The white rabbit slowly and unknowingly. Muxia and I have brought you a thank you gift, but the scene in front of her really caused her to collapse a little. She ran out the door screaming, and oh my god, that was hot. The people inside the door don't seem to be able to perceive it. Molheim. Shout at me when you're done. Mukai is really. It's still daytime, right? Dai had to explain that it's normal that it's winter now. When the forest is in spring and prey and food are plentiful, the females will be able to lay their pups. I don't agree with you. You don't have to have a threesome. It's too much. Whitey reassured her that I don't like the idea of having you with other males at the same time. Why does he get on my case? Is he only interested in me? He really does do everything to get himself off. She's the only thing that matters to Pak Tai. He'll do anything she says. The sun is setting, and it's midday outside. Frosty Cloud, who had finished running errands, appeared at the door and he's dined back. They're having a delicious barbecue. Frosty is back. Come and eat. He walked forward with a dull gaze and waited for the roast with unparalleled equanimity. Whitey grilled a skewer of meat and handed it to her, tasting it to see how it tasted. It was really nice and crispy on the outside and with a little bit of juice on it. It tasted really good. Frosty Cloud was like a light bulb, sitting dumbly across from the duo. Dr. Longchamp reminded himself that females love sweet talk. He picked up the kebab thoughtfully. How was he going to learn to say love words himself? He didn't give a damn then, but now he's studying hard, just because of the witch doctor's words. Can you still compare to the White Emperor? The 3-star Sobis are so powerful, and just like that, they are still gentle and considerate, taking care of the little female in every way. Of course he likes him. You've got to learn the ropes. Frosty Cloud argued with a blush. I'm not going to learn from that tiger. But if he doesn't learn, he'll lose his reprieve. He won't allow this to happen. I'm going to change the loss of the reprieve. I can't stand it. There's a lot of snow outside, but inside the cave there's a starry night. Slowly but dazedly, I opened my eyes. Whitey, I'm a little cold. But then she suddenly remembered that he was next door. And after that incident, he was afraid that I was in harm's way. She was still a little sentimental, but there was a click outside. There's a nuisance sound coming from the kitchen. Could it be an unscrupulous thief? I saw a big, slender hand actually grilling a delicious meat skewer. Slowly thinking it was a thief, he saw him with the wooden stick, but stood frowning in place. This Frosty Cloud is roasting in the kitchen in the middle of the night. What are you doing here? The haughty white wolf immediately hid the kebabs and told her that he wasn't doing anything, but the kebab was so hot he screamed and threw it away, slowly rubbing up against him. Should be fine, no redness or burns, but you didn't sleep in the middle of the night and came here to barbecue. Didn't you have enough to eat at night? That arrogant white wolf says he doesn't care about you, but inside he wants to learn to cook and make you happy. Slowly reaching out and pointing at him. Your ears shrugged down. Every time you get upset, your ears shrug down. She was sweet enough to sit on the sidelines. Do you want a roast? So she began to configure the spices and said she could teach him. The meat has to be cut before it can be grilled. She explains as she moves. That's it. Do you want to try it? The weak complexioned arrogant coyote's face turned a bright shade of red. But when he was cutting the meat, he finished it with a few skillful swishes and swishes. Skewer them evenly like this, and then rotate them slowly, so they are evenly heated, and brush the center with seasoning. He had a look of realization on his face. So that's how it works. Looks like it's almost ready. Try this. He ate the successfully grilled kebabs, but they didn't taste as good as those grilled by Pak Tai. The more he thought about it, the more desperate he felt. Everything was inferior to Whitey. Take what the district competition slowed down. Slowly, completely unaware of the situation. Why is he drooping his ears again? You are not happy that the barbecue is successful. He looked to this little female. Do you care if I'm happy or not? Is really eating this up. What's with the what looked like a big dog? But you only care about the tiger. It doesn't matter to you what happens to me, does it? A little female indicated that he was important, which sounded like she was just comforting him. I didn't realize the female had grabbed his wrist. I mean, seriously, you're very important to me. You're actually quite nice and helpful. I appreciate it. He's happy about it, but all you've got from me is thanks. Slowly becoming stumped for a response. But then he noticed it, slowing his heartbeat to a quicker pace. He suddenly came forward. You kind of like me too, am I right? I didn't know how to respond. I stammered. I couldn't speak. To deny it would be a lie, but to admit it. What about Whitey? Frosty Cloud's small face turned even redder, and with this reaction of hers, I understood. It's not just me. Slow is starting to like me too. Only the little female suddenly cried out. I don't know my own mind. He immediately regained his haughty expression. He likes me but doesn't dare to say it. Is he afraid of my rejection? Slowly, who had just been entangled, was suddenly brought back to his senses by this scene. He stated that he hated females, but seeing as you like them so much, he could give you a chance. Slowly was furious. I must be blind for having a crush on this guy. Don't be so self-absorbed. Get out of my way. I'm going back to bed. He got a bit overwhelmed and hastily raised his arm to stop the female from leaving. Before you went to save by die, you promised me a request. I want you to fulfill the condition. Slowly says it's totally fine. What do you want me to do? Only to see him look at her in a serious manner. You want to mate with me? Slowly and angrily shouted. Are you suffering from some serious illness? Get back to bed. So she quickly returned to her room and fell into an exhausted sleep. At that moment her arm was stroked, and he was still whispering for a slow. She woke up in a daze, and sure enough, she saw the arrogant coyote. Ignoring any reaction from the female, he leaned down slightly and kissed his way towards her. Their hands were clenched in both directions, neither one of them willing to let go. Slowly opening his tearful eyes, Frost Cloud, what are you doing? Only he didn't respond, and he wanted to do something to her in the depths of his love. Slowly and violently she sat up from the bed, her long beautiful hair becoming disheveled. That dream was horrible. How could he possibly want to have sex with me? She looked in the direction of the kitchen again, and there was Frost Cloud's charred roast. She recalled the words and the scene she was in. It's either the dream or what he said that makes it so strange. The cold winds howl at night, and they don't even stop in the middle of the day. My good friend's eyes have changed. You're not in the mood today. Slowly inwardly spit out, being tossed by Frosty Cloud. Yet the words came out of his mouth as, didn't sleep well, did it? My best friend came over quietly. Was Frost Cloud too much for him last night? She quickly told her friend to shut up. We Frost Cloud didn't do anything like that, Mushon righteously retorted. How could there not be? Frost Cloud patriarch likes you so much. She was shocked at this. How could Frost Cloud like me? But think of how he treats Livy. That's how he doesn't like it. And in thinking of how he treats you, she thinks it's not the same. Frosty Cloud's got a bad mouth, but he'll do anything I ask. Mok Hien came over with interest. What are you hesitating for? I would have jumped on a man like Frosty and enjoyed it. It suddenly occurred to her that she couldn't even stand Whitey, and Frost Cloud looked strong too. Sure enough, she didn't care that she was blushing. Didn't it hurt when you did it? Mok Hien looks bland. I feel good and comfortable, but you're a bit delicate, so they don't dare to push you too hard. You're too small. Too much difference in size hurts. But there's a fruit that eases the pain. But didn't you happen to have heard of the kind of fruit Mocha was talking about? In the cellar of the source leaf fruits home, Whitey picked a jar of source leaf fruits. Whitey gave me some, and I got much better. I didn't realize that the source leaf fruit could still have that kind of wonderful use. At that moment, Frosty Cloud's voice rang out of the door, trying to get her to come out for a moment. She quietly opened the doorway. How she felt embarrassed to be caught in the act. She looked at Frost Cloud in surprise. What was he squirming about? He said there was no need to be shy, that there was no hurry on that matter. He had another thing to say. I'm not going to have sex with you, narcissist. What's up? Come on. Unexpectedly, his words constituted a small surprise to her. Livy was pregnant. Why are you telling me this? Is the baby in her belly? Yes. Sniffing, the Frosty Clouds exploded violently into. I was going to put her in a cell and throw all her gain out when the snow melts. Longju asked me to release her, saying that if something happens to a pregnant woman, it would be bad for the reputation of our tribe. But I think you're the victim. You decide what to do with her. Whatever you want, I'll do it for you. But killing a pregnant female is a serious offense. Aren't you afraid you'll be reviled? Frosty Cloud says he doesn't care. He can afford not to be the clan leader and take you away to live somewhere else together. You don't have to do this. Let Livy go. The baby in her belly is innocent. His look was grave. You are willing to let Livy go because you don't want to make things difficult for me. You really like me. That's why you're so sensitive to my feelings. I'm really touched. His expression grew more and more agitated, and he cried out softly in pleasure to the little female before him, only to see him come forward slightly and drop a kiss on her forehead. Then he left happily. I'll go and take care of it first. You be good at home and wait for me to come back. The entrance to the dungeon at this time was actually opened violently. These orcs are having a messy affair in the dungeon. He looks behind him to his little brother. You go up and open the door and let them out. Livy was so excited. You're really lying. You care about me so much. Frosty Cloud, disgusted by these words, suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. She took a closer look at his body, not realizing that he had evolved. She was so happy. She rushed over to me. I'll have a great baby with you. What is his name? I have more to offer you than that wild female.